Hello, everybody. Joe Marquez here once again from the Sons of Technology to showcase for you a tool that will allow you to give timed assessments to your students. Now, I want to give this caveat right away. During this time of distance learning, during this time of home learning, whatever you want to call it, I am not proposing giving these timed assessments. I would say give a little bit of grace to your students, give them asynchronously. I mean, if you have to give a timed assessment, maybe wait a while until this pandemic is over. But I do know that there are some instances in high school, maybe college, where you are going to want to give timed assessments. Maybe they are practice timed assessments for a certification they are planning to take, or a test that will be taken down the line that is timed, and you want to give them that feel. So I don't want you to think I'm showing this to you so that you just give these random timed assessments to your elementary or secondary students. But there may be a time and there may be a place where you will need this. So that is why I'm showing it to you. So I wanted to get that right out of the way so that we can just move forward. So this timed assessment is going to be made right out of your Google Forms. And we are going to be using a tool called Quilgo. Now, this used to be called Timify, but it changed its name to Quilgo. I don't know the story behind it, and I really didn't care, so I didn't research it, but that's the case. And what you are going to do is add on that Quilgo extension or add-on to your Google form. Now, if you've never done an add-on before, you need to click on these three dots right here, and you scroll down to where it says add-ons. So if you've never added an add-on before, that is where you need to go. And you're going to want to type in Quilgo. Now, once again, it used to be called Timify Me. So once you have done the Quilgo, you will come here and you will install it into your Google Forms. Now, what do you do from there? Well, the first thing you need to do is go to Quilgo and log in with your Google account to create an account. This will allow you to install this extension. Now, when you're done, you're going to copy this token right here to embed that Quilgo option into your Google Forms. So now what we did is we went to the icon, right? And we selected the add icon. We added in the Quilgo. Then once we're there, we're going to select the icon and we're going to go to configure and connect with our secure token. So I'm going to click right up here, go to my Quilgo right here, and we are going to connect with our secure token. So it's there. We might need to reload. Now you're going to go up to your icon right here, the puzzle piece. You're going to select Quilgo and you're going to select configure. Once you select configure, you are now going to paste that token. Once again, you've already gone to Quilgo. You've already logged in. You're going to click copy your token. And once you've configured, you're going to paste that token right into your Quilgo and you're going to connect. So basically you're connecting the Quilgo app into the Quilgo add-on on the form. Now we're going to enable Quilgo right here on this test. So it is now enabled. It is now enabled. You also want to make sure, and it says right down here, that you turn off the setting of it being restricted. Meaning, if I come up here to my settings, you don't want to be restricted to only a particular group of users. It needs to be everybody, but you're going to collect their emails anyways. So now when I go to the Quilgo dashboard, it'll show me that I have a Unit 1 Quiz 1 test. That is the same name that we have right here. And now what I want to do is I want to come in. I'm going to go here to my demo, pretend like this is an actual test. So I'm going to open up my demo test, which is the quiz. So this is what the students would see. And I'm going to open the form. So and it'll tell the students camera tracking is enabled. I give my consent to be recorded or not. Now, that would be a decision you'd have to make at your school. And when I showed this before this pandemic had occurred, people were like, well, I don't know if I want to put my students on the camera. But now we have districts across the country having kids on the camera. This is only between you and the student, nobody else. So it's a little bit more accepted now than it was before March had occurred. So I'm going to select this right here. It's going to ask to use my camera. And here we go. So now it's showing my face right here. My camera works. We open the form and I am now taking the test. Notice it's showing that the timer is running out. So I'm going to put in my name here. I'm going to put in my period number because this is the test we're coming through. I'm going to pretend like I'm not looking at the screen, or I'm going to go to another dashboard because I'm going to show you why this is important in a minute. Right here, if you're the teacher, you can see if someone is actually taking the test, if we're going down. So now we're going to go back to the quiz, and just really quickly, I'm going to start taking these tests. Right here, I'm going to show you what happens. Oh, and this right here, this is that submission field. They just tell the students, do not touch it. Just leave it alone. Don't touch what's there. So I'm going to come through here, take the test, all the way down. And look at what happens when time runs out. We call it overtime. So the students are still able to take the test. The students are still able to hit submit. It's just telling them, we gave you 10 minutes. Well, this one, it was an example for 1 minute. We gave you 10 minutes. You didn't finish in 10 minutes, but you're still going to be able to finish the exam. Once again, this is if you're trying to train your students on taking an exam under a 60-minute time frame or what have you. And now I hit submit, and it sends my quiz right in to my Quilgo dashboard. And you can see in my Quilgo dashboard, it shows that I finished, but finished with overtime. So it shows that I did not finish in the time that I had allotted. It shows you how many times you were unfocused, meaning how many times you left the quiz to do something else. It shows you your score. And then it also says, hey, there were multiple faces detected. You might want to open up that camera tracking report, and it will load the frames, and you can see all the different frames of all the different times of what was going on. And the green shows you when, the red shows you when you're doing something else. The green shows you when you're on task. And the yellow means you might be off task, you might be on task. So it's helping you out there. It said it identified multiple faces, but you can tell up here, it's all just me. So there's no need to worry about that. So it shows you the score of the students as well. Now, how do you issue this to your students? Well, the first thing is you want to create a test, create an instance, and you have to add students to this. So I'm going to call this one, I'm going to add this to fake student at a fake school. There we go. How many minutes? I'm going to have it be 3 minutes. It asks, do you want to auto close it when the form is over? I do not recommend that, because now that if they don't finish, they can't even submit it. So you won't even see how far they have gotten. So I would not select that. Notice the camera that I just showed you, those are only for the premium plan. So if you're using this with the free plan, you cannot add that camera tracking option. And then you can choose to allow the students to see their score once the submission is done. I'm going to leave those all unchecked, and I'm going to hit create. So now we have the test ready to go, and we want to send the test to our students. So I'm going to select send test, and you select all the students you want to send it to. Again, it's not perfect, because I wish you can bring in your entire Google Classroom roster and say, I want to send it to all of them, but you have to put them in individually at the moment. Burdensome, I know. It's not perfect. And then also notice with this free account, you only have 100 quotas, 100 of your tests that you can actually send them to. So if you have more than that, you're going to need to purchase one of those premium plans. They're not too much, but that's just an option you're going to have to do by selecting increasing the quota. And then we're going to select next and say, take this by Wednesday. And again, it doesn't go right to Google Classroom. I wish it did, but it goes right to a student's email. So now we're going to send the tests to the students. How do the students get these exams? Well, the students get the exams out of their email. Again, not perfect. So here it is. Here's a test from the Quiglio team or the Quilgo team. The students are going to select to open the form. It's going to tell the students they have 3 minutes. Notice it doesn't tell them a camera's going to be recording them because that option is not selected. And they're going to select open the form. Now, here's the thing as well. Because you sent it to their email address, they have a very specific code that is directed to them. So if this student goes, oh, I'm going to take this test for Sally. So let's say he tries to take this for Sally at sally.net. Who's this first name? Sally. Ride. Period 1. And they hit next. So let's say they're taking the test. Now notice the timer is going. And so they come in here, greater force on the ball, compression, electric field. So let's just say they're taking this test. They're taking their time. They're taking the test. So they're going through this. They're answering the questions. This is that submission ID. This is what we do not want them to delete. So you tell them, do not delete that. It says, do not edit this field. Leave this alone or your time and test will not be recorded. That is key. They'll have to start all over again. If that happens, they'll have to hit reload and start all over again, and they won't get their time reset. It'll be like that time has already gone through. So as soon as they're done, they hit submit. It says, thank you, your form has been submitted. And so if we go back to the Quiglio, the Quilgo option, we will see that student right here has submitted. When they started, when they finished, it will still give you whether they were focused or not, even if it doesn't record their faces. So it'll show you if they were going back and forth between screens, but they will not actually record that. Now, again, this is not a perfect tool, but if you are looking for a practice for some important certification or exam where the students do need to be timed, this is a great way to get a timer embedded onto their Google form and where you can actually see how long it took them to finish. Not something you're wanting to do every day, but it does fit the need if you have this very specific purpose. So thank you for watching. I hopefully this helped an issue that you may have or have in the future, and I appreciate each and every one of you. And again, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our channel. If you enjoy the Sons of Technology, please listen to our podcast wherever podcasts are listened to. And make sure you follow us on Twitter at Sons of Tech EDU. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you so much for doing everything you can for your students during this time and beyond. Have a great, fantastic day.